The Protector is the tank of the Skirmish soldiers. Welcome, this is Pineleaf Needle's Skirmisher Middle-earth. Today we're going to run through the Siege of Gondamon with the Lore Master with a Protector. For my animal companion, I'll be using a Raven. This is because at level 21, I have only two choices. Either the bear or the Raven. I think the bear is a little bit redundant when I'm running with a Protector. If I were running with a more offensive soldier, such as an archer, I would probably consider using a bear instead, to be a little bit more defensive. That's one of the advantages of being a lore master, is that you could adjust your pet as well as your skirmish soldier. So you could use a more generic soldier perhaps if you wish. Now if I had liked using melee type soldiers, perhaps I would have chosen a banner guard to go with my lore master, since the banner guard is very generic in its nature. And then choose my pet to complement it. But I prefer to avoid them, and the only reason why I am using a Protector right here is because it's what is promised for the video. I said that I would use at least one of every single skirmish soldier for this particular series of runs. The Protector, when it is in its standard position, will be in front of you, though you could see that, as any other NPC, it lags behind me when I am running around. But as soon as it gets into the rested position, it's nice and settled. Now this does mean, though, that since we've got south versus north, well, that is the minstrel trainer, who can survive pretty long. And you all see what happens when I go to the side of getting the flag carrier first. I wind up losing someone. And that's the last thing I want right now. Please. Mez him. Good. Zealots of Pain need to be mezzed. At least as long as there's any friends of the Zealot of Pain in the area. Now I have my Raven on aggressive stance. Oh yes, my Raven also doesn't like it. Ouch. The Raven also doesn't like going around attacking those hard to attack creatures such as the Zealot of Pain. So I have to tell my Raven to attack. Now you can see that I got a message up there saying that the south flag has dropped. That means the minstrel trainer was victorious in the fight against the flag dropper. Oh, I get the west one. And this one also sends me to the north afterwards. So I can only hope that this gate guard is as successful as the other gate guard was. Now I just have to be able to get to the right place afterwards. Now I'm going to have to choose one out of two gates to do an encounter on at the end of the first assault. And I'll choose that based on where I am at the end of the skirmish. Or at the end of the assault, I should mean. Let me kill him. And now, while they all work on the other goblin, I'll pick up my flag. But we'll be finishing up on the west. Now, since I'm a lore master, what I can do is mez someone. Let me see if I can mez that guy. Alright. Now the reason for that... Actually, I really should be going after the wound taker first. Now I'll go after this guy. Right, now, grab the chest. Now, I know he's still fighting, but I will summon him. And that way, he's already on the way when the assault ends. Now, if the gate guard was not fighting against them and was just staying in the neutral position, I would have done the entire fight before going after and breaking the mez. That way, I would be able to have the entire time between in order to rest. Actually, now here's a similar situation. Here I can summon the guard here, grab the skirmisher here, and mez him. Now we could fight against the goblin. Now fight against the encounter boss. And I could take him out. Now we can fight this guy. Now this works very well in solos and duos because there's no time limit on how long you take in order to fight the various mobs. In larger runs, that gets a little bit tougher, and that is because in small fellowship and larger skirmishes, if you don't kill all the mobs within a certain amount of time, then the next wave spawns automatically. Ooh, there's actually some hope that I may actually keep all the gate guards alive when you consider that I have no more encounters left. I managed to complete both encounters, and therefore you could see the advantage. I hope I didn't speak too soon by being late, but of course this is the one with the minstrel trainer, and the minstrel trainer is the best survivor of the lot. Actually, can I get that blood arrow mezzed? I guess better to do it after he starts to prep his arrow. Ooh, the guard actually paid attention. I like it when the guard pays attention. And doesn't attack. So you can see there, for a moment, I was not being attacked by the venomous blood arrow, and the protector ignored the blood arrow until the blood arrow hit me. At that point, the protector finally realized, oh, you're fighting someone. He apparently is stone deaf when it comes to hearing combat, but as soon as I scream, he turns around. His job apparently is to protect, not to prevent me from getting the first hit against me. No, I don't understand the logic either. As you can see, I'm going particularly back and forth in this run. And that is pretty typical in a skirmish, or at least in the Siege of Gondamon. Now, I usually prefer to... Oh, I keep on hitting the wrong button. I should move in close enough so that my pet can see it, because my pet is behind me. If I stand so far back that the pet can't see the combat, then there's no way in the world that I am going to be able to get the pet's help. And what good is a raven that doesn't help you in the combat? Stormkeeper. I can't wait until I get fast loader. That is one of my favorite traits to load, because I like to get my mezzes off as quickly as possible. There are too many situations where before I get fast loader, I go, oh please, please get off in time. Alright, this was the Brigand Slayer. So that's one of the nice things in the skirmishes, is that you can complete Slayer deeds while running a skirmish. And in this skirmish you can complete the deeds for Brigands, which is Dour Hands, or for Goblins, or for Wolves, or for Hendrival. And in fact, the Hendrival were not originally part of the skirmish. They were only added later so that players will be able to use skirmishes in order to finish off the Hendrival deed. That way, when you're level 20 or level 80, you don't need to run into Arid Luin in order to complete the deed and steal all those Hendrival kills from the level 8 players that are attempting to complete a quest. This is actually a pretty good run. I know, I'll jinx it, right? We are in the third assault, which means there isn't too much longer before we fall back to Matthew. Now, during the very first design of the skirmish, all the enemies in a particular assault came from one direction. Now that made things a little bit too easy. And in fact, what some players did, from what I heard, is that they would go into the camps where they spawned and kill them at the spawn points. It also, of course, made the flag encounters a lot easier. The biggest challenge in this skirmish, I find, are the flag encounters, and the counters in general. That is, of course, unless the encounter comes in from the same direction. Or you have some other trick in order to be able to handle them at the same time. Now it's a little bit easier if you're in a group, because then you could have part of the group go after the flag carrier, and you have the rest of the group go after the main set of mobs. And what very often is, the group that goes after the flag carrier will pull the flag carrier to the rest of the group so they could all be together. You can see I attempted to do that in solo on a couple of the earlier videos on this skirmish, and I generally failed miserably, with the usual result being that the gate guard will wind up being dead. In this case, it looks like we've got Magrith, which is the guard trainer. And I think the guard trainer lasts a little bit longer than the Gondamon guard. Now in this case, Defender of the Vile, there's no use on trying to mez him and going after everyone else first, since the Defender of the Vile will just still give his buff to everyone, since it doesn't matter whether or not he's conscious. When he gives his buff, it's in full area of effect that's constantly on. And there we go, end of the third assault. Now we can go and help Matthew. And I don't have to worry about any encounters left, since they're already done. And all 3 guards survived. Now all I have to do is keep Matthew alive and complete the skirmish. I'll have a little something to eat while I wait for them. I'm a cook. I might as well use the food that I cook. Well, they're biding their time. Ah, here's the first group. Now, let's see. The other group is about to arrive, and Matthew's a little bit stronger than the gate guards are. So therefore, he can take a little bit of a beating, but if you go and let him fight out in 2 groups at the same time, well, that will most likely do him in pretty quickly. It's not an experiment I would like to try anytime soon. Especially at low level, where your friends are not exactly the most resilient in the world. Is there a lot of pain? Let's see. Can I keep him? Yeah. Keep him out of commission for a moment. Take care of the rest. Is there anyone else left? Nope. Alright. Alright, tell my bird to attack it. Actually tell my soldier to attack it also. He must have ignored my farm. Where is my bird? Now I usually keep track of the enemies approaching through the radar up here, which will show all the enemy mobs in red. Actually, their next group is coming in. Reaver, definite candidate for mezzing. And we might as well have everyone together. Nice and happy. Very good use of fire lore, though. Has that 3 target max. I need more targets really to have affected everyone, but you can't have everything. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh, he is now in his enraged state, which is a good time to do something that stuns or mezzes. Now the way to tell whether or not you're at the final fight yet, the boss fight, is the sounds of the horn. Since it is 2 different waves approaching, you will hear 2 horns, as opposed to 1 horn that you usually hear with waves. At the very last fight, when the boss comes in, there will only be 1 horn. That way, if you lose count, there will be 4 waves, or 4 pairs of waves to be more accurate. And that was the single horn. Well, that and of course this big battle cry erupts thing that comes up here. Now normally I will probably stand here to go after the general, because when I have a melee soldier I usually don't attempt to go after the Drake, and instead take them off one at a time. Of course, since I'm a lore master, I could always try that. And that's the other way to make sure he's out. Now, most likely that would not work in a raid, since I have a strong suspicion he would be immune to mezzing in a raid. But in a solo run, it works. And he should go down fairly quickly. And there we go. 1 dead Drake, 1 dead General, 1 Veterans Recruit bounty in my hand, and all 3 alive. Now that's a good run. Until next time, this is Pine Leaf Needles. May your shield protect you, and your spear never break.